Right. In previous class, we discussed about structure of ovule. Just we saw the diagram of ovule structure. Today I will give notes for that. Then we can continue for next class. See that ovule is also called megasporangium. That ovule is present inside the ovary. First of all, see different parts of the ovule. Okay, this is ovule. This ovule, one second please. This ovule has a function called as nucellus at center. A mature ovule has developed embryo sac, which is also called as a female gametophyte, and there are integuments on ovule. These integuments are the outer coat present around the megasporangium. At the apex of integuments, there is a small opening called micropyle, and on posterior end to micropyle, there is a part called as chalaza, and the stalk of ovule called as a funicle or funiculus. The part of the ovule where it joins with the funicle is called as hilum, and in inverted ovule there is formation of a ridge called raphe. These are different parts of the ovule that you already drawn this diagram in previous class. Just I will explain once, then I will give notes for this. See this is ovule. Ovule is also called as megasporangium. This megasporangium is formed inside the ovary with the help of placenta. It is formed from placenta, and ovule is attached to placenta with the help of a sac called funicle or funiculus. And the main body of ovule attached to funiculus with the help of where there is presence of hilum. Hilum is a place where main body of ovule is attaching with sac. In inverted ovule, there is formation of a sort of ridge called raphe. Integuments are the coverings which are present around the main body called nucellus. There are usually two integuments, and inside the nucellus, a mature ovule shows a female gametophyte called embryo sac. And at the tip of the ovule, integuments have a small opening that is called as micropyle. This is the funicle, this is the basal part. In ovule body, this is the basal part, because from funicle, this is the beginning part, this is the end part or apical part, which is terminal part. Okay, you already drawn this structure. Now write notes for this structure of megasporangium, then we can continue with the next topic. Note down first point. A ovule is an ovule is a megasporangium. Megasporangium develops from in the ovary, develops from placenta in the ovary. It is a small and generally oval structure, and generally oval structure, and consists a central body called nucellus, called nucellus, which is surrounded by one or two integuments. One or two integuments. Okay. Next point. Each ovule is attached to placenta, by a sac called funiculus. Next point. The place of attachment of main body of ovule with sac is called hilum. Next point. In an inverted ovule, funicle fuses with main body. And forms a sort of ridge, called raphe, R-A-P-H-A-E, raphe. Next point. The nucellus makes the main part of the ovule, which is the megasporangium proper. Next point. A small opening at the apex of integuments is known as micropyle. Next point. Posterior end of the ovule, where nucellus nucellus, integument, and funiculus fuse together, and funiculus fuse together is called chalaza. Is called chalaza. Next point. A large oval structure. A large oval structure enclosed in nucellus, towards the micropylar end, is embryo sac. This makes the most important part of the matured ovule. This makes the most important part of matured ovule. Next point. It contains egg cell. So it is also called female gametophyte. It is also called female gametophyte. Okay, right. This is the structure of ovule. Then see the types of ovules. First one, based on nucellus. Based on nucellus, this ovules are divided into two types. One is tenunucellate ovule. Tenunucellate ovule means it is a type of ovule where nucellus is scanty. Scanty means where there is less amount of nucellus. That is called as a tenunucellate ovule. Second type of ovule is called crassinucellate ovule. Crassinucellate ovule where nucellus is massive. Mass of nucellus is present. Okay, see that two types. One is tenunucellate ovule. Tenunucellate ovule means nucellus is scanty or less amount. Where nucellus is present? Inside the ovary, there is presence of ovule. Inside that ovule, the main part is the nucellus. This is the nucellus. If the nucellus is very little or less amount of tissue is present in nucellus, then it is called as a tenunucellate ovule. If there is presence of a large amount or more amount of nucellus, then it is called as crassinucellate ovule. Okay, we cannot differentiate this tenu nucellate and crassinucellate based on the plant. Okay, that means different plants do not have crassinucellate or tenunucellate ovule. That means the amount of nucellus is not different in different plants. Plants do not have different amount of nucellus. See how much means one plant can be particularly tenunucellate, another plant can be particularly crassinucellate, like that we cannot say. Why? Because a single plant may have a tenunucellate ovule or a crassinucellate ovule. That means in one plant, especially in Gamma-Petale members, a plant has a little amount of nucellus, where nucellus is not well developed. That nucellus is called as a tenunucellate. Okay, the same plant, if nucellus is well developed, then the same plant ovule, we can say it is crassinucellate. So tenunucellate or crassinucellate ovules is based on the amount of nucellus present in that ovule. Okay, this is based on the nucellus. Then based on the number of integments. Integment is the outer coat layer around the embryo sac. See, based on integment. Based on integment, these ovules are again divided into three types. One is monotegmic ovule. Monotegmic ovule means ovule has only one integument. If an ovule has a single integument around that embryo sac or nucellus, then it is called monotegmic ovule. This monotegmic ovule we can observe in some plants like Helianthus. Helianthus means a sunflower, and in Datura we can observe monotegmic ovule. Second one is bitegmic ovule. Bitegmic ovule means two integuments are present. Two integuments are present in ovule, that is called as bitegmic ovule. This bitegmic ovule we can observe in the members of Polypetalae and monocots. Polypetalae occupy majority of dicots. In monocot, bitegmic ovule is common in majority of angiosperms, especially dicots. Polypetalae is a large order in dicots. So in that there is presence of bitegmic ovule. Majority of dicots and all monocots have bitegmic ovule. Third one, ategmic ovule. Ategmic ovule means ovule with no integument, where integument is absent. That ovules are called as ategmic ovule. This ategmic ovule has no integument, but embryo sac is protected. No problem. Okay, that is seen in a plant called Tantalum album. Tantalum album, you know, sandalwood, sandanam. In that Tantalum album, we can see ategmic ovule where there is no integument. Even though there is no integument, there is no problem, because embryo sac or nucellus is nacked condition. Ategmic means nacked megasporangium or nacked ovule. Okay, this is present in Tantalum album. Even though there is no integument, that is protected by ovary walls. So it is present inside ovary, so no problem, it is protected. Okay, these are three types of ovules based on the number of integuments present in the ovule. Right. Okay, complete. Then we go for different parts other than the major parts of the ovule. Ovule usually has a funiculus, hilum, raphe, chalaza, nucellus, embryo sac, micropyle. Along with that, there is formation of some extra structures in some cases. Okay, first one is endothelium. What is endothelium? Endothelium is a nutritive layer that is developed from inner layer of integument. This is nutritive layer or nutritive tissue that differentiates from inner layer of integument. From the inner layer of integument, there is development of a nutritive layer that is called as endothelium. This is seen particularly in tenunucellate ovule. In tenunucellate ovule, we can observe this like gamopetale member. In gamopetale members, we can observe that tenunucellate. In tenunucellate condition, we can observe the presence of a tissue called endothelium. This endothelium is a nutritive tissue, especially seen in tenunucellate ovule. Why this endothelium is produced in tenunucellate condition or tenunucellate ovule is a question. Usually, what is the nucellus? If nucellus is less, then it is called as a tenunucellate ovule. In tenunucellate ovule, nucellus is very less. Nucellus is the major nutritive tissue present in ovule. But here, nucellus is very less. As the nucellus is very less, growth of the embryo sac is somewhat difficult. In tenunucellate ovule, nucellus is very less. As the nucellus is less, for the development of embryo sac, some other nutritive tissue is required. Usually, nucellus is a nutritive tissue. But here, nucellus is less, so that there is formation of another nutritive tissue called endothelium from the inner layer of integument. That is endothelium. This endothelium is seen here. Second one is obturator. Obturator. Obturator is a oval structure that develops from funicle or nucellus. From the funiculus or nucellus, there is formation of a oval structure. Okay, but it is not ovary. It is responsible for guiding pollen tube to enter the ovule through micropyle. Entry of pollen tube into ovule through micropyle is guided by obturator. This obturator is also seen in all kinds of ovule, but endothelium is present in tenunucellate ovule only. Then third one is hypostase. Hypostase is a lignified tissue, lignified cholencymatous tissue, lignified tissue which is present below means at the base, below embryo sac. Below embryo sac there is a development of a lignified tissue. That lignified tissue is called as hypostase. And there is another tissue called epistase. This epistase is a cutinized tissue above embryo sac. Above the embryo sac, there is development of a cutinized tissue that is called as epistase. Okay, see that functions now. Endothelium is a nutritive layer, no problem. Obturator is a oval structure that develops from funiculus or nucellus that is responsible for the entry of pollen tube into ovule through micropyle. That is no problem. See this hypostase. Where hypostase and epistase are made. Usually hypostase is made below the embryo sac. What is that portion below present embryo sac? Where is that base of the embryo sac? See here, this is the basal part of the ovule where funiculus is attached to placenta. So ovule structure will start from here. Ovule structure starts from here, and this is the nucellus. Nucellus is the basal part. This is basal part. This is the terminal part. Okay. Micropyle is the apical part, apex. Okay. This is the basal part. Here embryo sac is there. At the base of the embryo sac means below the embryo sac means here. Here there is the formation of hypostase, and above the embryo sac means towards the terminal apex. Here there is formation of epistase. This is hypostase. This is epistase. See now, hypostase is lignified and epistase is cutinized. As they are lignified and cutinized, they are responsible to give a mechanical support. They give mechanical support to the developing embryo sac. Okay, just note this. After that, we will continue. Madhumita, does the amount of nucellus affect the size of embryo sac? No, embryo sac is present, that is developed inside the nucellus. Amount of nucellus will affect the size of ovule, not size of the embryo sac.
Yes,
Okay. I think to complete. Then we go for types of ovules. Types of ovules. So ovules, based on the angle between funiculus and micropyle, or based on the curvature, ovules are divided into 6 different types. Okay, this is based on angle of micropyle in relation to funicle and collagen. What is the angle of, what is the direction of funicle and collagen? What is the direction of micropyle? What is the angle present between collagen and micropyle? Based on that, ovules are divided into 6 types. Okay, you copy this. This meeting is going to end, I think. After that, I will connect again and I will tell you 6 different types. Okay, 6 different types of ovules are there based on the angle. They are orthotropous, anatropous, semi-anatropous, camphylotropous, amphitropous, and circinotropous. 6 types of ovules are there, and what is the angle in that, and different example we will see that. Okay, what are the 6 types of ovules? 6 types of ovules. See one by one. I'll divide a board into 6 parts so that you can clearly know. One is orthotropous ovule. This orthotropous ovule has no curvature. There is no bending, there is no curvature, or there is no angle between funiculus and micropyle. That is called orthotropous ovule. See that orthotropous ovule structure. See this, this is orthotropous ovule. This is the direction of funicle, line of funicle. In same line, micropyle is there. There is no curvature, straight. This is called as a straight ovule. That is called as orthotropous ovule. This all we can observe in members of a family called Piperaceae. In Piperaceae family, we can observe the orthotropous ovule. Second one is anatropous ovule. Okay. Second one, anatropous ovule. This anatropous ovule has 180 degrees of angle. 180 degrees of angle is present. This is also called inverted ovule. Inverted ovule. This is most common type of ovule in majority of angiosperms. Angiosperms have most common type of ovule called as, which is anatropous ovule. Okay. Anatropous ovule.